Abusia, munim say nipa ye fucking papa, nipa ye cutlery set. Nipa you and this me say yes ko hihye Satan a wo ko wo and this ni a was o chi sa nipa no because say wo jai sa nipa na wo Satan bio. Abusia for Ahaya Ghana Sam TV. You best stress and must subscribe to the channel and from my YouTube and comment section. Jame shine na. Abusia na call your MP4 Kasoa. Abusia 2024 mami we ben eni nsem bia betuja. Efa ye mami hawa kumsi no. Osi ono onam ni baby na hawa kumsi any tag any boys. Ebe crossi the convoy. Oma shooting one of his boys. Abusia mami we kansim we na kumam hawa kumsi nem animas. Egunenima asipoto ewo krom ha se Ghana ha obi ampese obe ha wakumsi bi obia edwi say ha wakumsi very very wicked not knowing say mami we tro e na otwa na ndc for the wudi se intro ndc for to me tram tro without fear and favor omo to be shanya me nipa to be tram tro to Oba uyokum ba hu say abusia for my corner and tie de o kaye in ansa na ebeto aba no de o kan fan how akum se no ema nkofo bebre mu efu how akum se wo kropa enu kra ka hu na how akum se ko ablekuma no because na omudi adwiboni ahye ndisi for bebre tim say how akum se nye and inti na okọ ho no ma obehu se nkofo akọhye ne so se obese oba bo no abusia mama yenko na yenko ti nsema mami we ekaye ema Ghana fo bebre ema Kasoa fo kra mu efu hawa kum se mutu abeti ano ene my konebra na ba ye beto nsebo ho.
Honorable, good evening. Good evening. Honorable, and then now Kasoa wutu senya is anyway the na asepa na the center mechuaba a step to Christ polling center. Omoye ahekaina bisumeko ho witness CBT we yano but minister other centers are omo putting things together. It's a me free step to Christ on and I'm who say V8B across it, my official car use. So can I know me use for over 1 year. A year party car use. It's a V8 me HAC a cano. Na me call for and a tecan. Na and one say you say in conformity sa V8 canimono. O master say on to true. Yake young call from Yenuche. Omo da fem cry. Omoda for me tie ne Kasoa yante asempa na ye nim results are a free each of the polling center eba say ye di nkudim say na call you e di nkunim say NDC e di nkunim ewa Kasoa Hawa Kumsin is down. She has lost the election terribly. Na me percent Ghana phone na ehun said the same people are making wasem over the last 4 years. Simon, Kamal, and the rest. Amakan wasem. Last 2 weeks from a year press conference. I can wasem. Say Hawa Kumsin. Asako pasa Simon ni boku kais. I mean to me a hotel sa omowo. Our police are ATM. These are the same people are omo ekunipa. Omo eku in comfort. I will be fear say Ghana is not safe. Kasoa is not safe. Me person can't check party for now from Accra, across the regions, across Ghana. Someone in among Fachi and break Kasoa because Kasoa, this is unprecedented. Yeah, Papa, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, we're winning elections, hands down. Mudia Bam will be Bia, but let's now call you Okuno. Misume winning elections, hands down. Hawa is a gunner, and if she cannot take this bitter pill, she can go and drown the ocean. Yeah, pray Obibia, say Monko Coalition Center ho. Now don't be deterred by this distraction. go to the collation center. I am coming to join you there for that declaration because the seat is ours. Captain, na koyo, and I yet Nenkano, I said, yeah, the kind of traffic chanama, a reasing no. Said, yeah, way, I na koyo, if you are. Captain. Meton, Captain.
Pacho, Bisana, koyo, mammy said, now, or Banakas, and I do I say, dear, no. None Captain, Papa. Besides, none a cast and a yes say, cast and a coffee, did not a yes say.
Honorable Obanakas, yes, and I'm the 20 Kayano, and no now with Timubino. It's 20 Kayano, me official Mahindra, now me usual. Paticano, and no, now me Timubino, and no swan a trono, a Kaya. And to 1 way 20 Kawa.
Hey, Abusia, inti obabesia betuma hwenja nyakopo enim pa atwantro atu ni yoku ba ho se obabesia wo utumi ho nyame enim atwantro. And there's one thing that the people I blame in this video, the pan, I say it was situation we mupan and he's a journalist, no, sa captain smart, no, sa TV clip. You as a journalist, Obiaka Semachira, what is your take? Or down or somewhere here, you have to go to the scene. I didn't tell a moment to Marco scene. Why didn't you go there? I didn't tell a man to me and go. Alcohol say, in some number me where cano, a young partner say, a young pa. But Marco, the whole I will fear. Ah, old chum to see. Or I send a meaning a chum to. Gana for him say just because of power or painting, what to make time draw a good coffee him. I was young, and then no credit abededi. Whom I am called a video, no, but I am trust. Now, a very, very sad for Ghana. And sad NDC member no can also joke. Would Jim who NDC way.
So 2024 election violent cases, starting with Ewutu Senya East constituency, that's Kasoa. The task force observed that the Honorable Phyllis Now Koyo Okeno denied that her convoy was attacked. She was nowhere near the scene of the incident. Persons who were involved in the incident have avoided speaking with the task force, while Muhammad Ali and others who were in the Mahindra pickup truck and fired shots from their vehicle have also avoided speaking with the task force. So their opinion have not been established. Muhammad Ali is said to have been flown abroad for further treatment. The late Yusuf Larry Idris died from a gunshot, and those who were in the Mahindra pickup with him know what happened. The driver of the Mahindra has been traced, and further investigation is ongoing. The task force will continue with the investigation. Tolong.
Kojo, I have learned that the MP went to the site at Bronikrum. In fact, the NIMOS, led by its commander, Colonel Boa, went to the site. They were actually on their way to a place. That wasn't the exact point where they were supposed to go. They were on a reconnaissance activity in the area at the invitation of the Tano North MC, that they wanted him to conduct some operation in the area. But on the way, his attention was drawn to this mining site. Actually, it's a gold processing area. Now, this is what they were doing there. They had dug a pit, and they were using acid and cyanide to process tailings for gold. Now, Kojo, you and I know the effects of cyanide. And they are not using the cyanide in small quantities. They are doing what they call leaching, using large quantities of cyanide to mix tailings, residue bought from other illegal gold mining sites. And they are doing that 10 inches away from the main Hwidium Road, the Bronikrum Hwidium Road. And so there were 2 excavators on site and 1 payloader. So the commander ordered that they should arrest them. So one guy who is called Alex was arrested, and then a Burkinabe. In fact, there were other Burkinabe nationals there, but they fled. So they were able to arrest one Burkinabe and the Alex guy, and they put them in handcuffs. And then they bent the structures on the ground, and they asked one of the operators to cover the pit they had dug that they were using for that illegal processing. Now, in the course of that, the MP came to the site with 20 other heavily built men, and he demanded that they release the people who have been arrested. In fact, in his own words, he said he doesn't want the townsfolk to see those 2 people in handcuffs, so they should release them, and they should hand over their seized equipment. And at that, the commander said no. On whose authority are you demanding that suspects who have been lawfully arrested be released? And then subsequently, he said he was sent by the Honorable Collins Dowda. And so Collins Dowda wants to speak to him, the commander, on phone. So he called Collins Dowda, and the commander spoke to him on his phone. And Collins Dowda also repeated the same issues, that they are his people and that he should release them. And he said no. So at this point, the men that he brought started agitating to the extent that they now seized a pump action gun that they have seized from them. They took it back. And then they went rowdy, took the keys to the vehicles they have seized from the commander, and released the suspects. So they noted that, in fact, the way that things were going, they had to rush the suspects to the next police station. On their way, the MP and his men were following them in a vehicle until they reached the police station. At the police station, the MP went to the charge office, stood there, and started repeating the same things he's been saying, that they should release the items, they should release the suspects over to them. And that is what brought more people to the station, and they started agitating to the extent that they started vandalizing the vehicle of NIMOS. They wanted to lynch the soldiers. They wanted to burn one of their vehicles until one policeman moved the vehicle away from the police station. So in effect, the MP insisted and ensured that the vehicles they had seized was released back to the suspects. The suspects were released. All the other items that had been seized were returned to them before the mob left the police station. This was what happened.
This is interesting.
The site where they are doing this thing, I'm told that Alex guy, popularly known as Una in the town, is a notorious guy who conducts his business there. I am also told that he's Honorable Collins Dowda's boy. As to whether that is true, I have not been able to confirm that. But that is what we have learned so far.
This is interesting. There is a detail I want to clarify because I think it's at the heart of this. So the chaos, right, with the mob growing and getting agitated, happened at the police station. Is that correct?
The agitation started at the site.
Yes, but
with the MP and the men he brought, about 20 of them.
I'll get to that. But I want to go along playing the devil's advocate, looking at what the MP has told us. Because he claims that he came there to restore calm because the public were agitated, right?
That is not true.
To help what he's saying.
Hold on, just a moment. Blessed has an intervention. Just a moment.
This is the quote from the MP, as pointed out by the overseer,
yes.
Erastus. It reads, quote, and I'm just reading. as a responsible lawmaker, I offered my support to ensure there's calmness in the area, and will always work together with every security agency to maintain law and order. That's the quote from the MP.
In fact, it is rather to the contrary.
Right. So I want us to go step by step. So the agitation with the crowd happened at the police station. At the mining site, it was only the MP and his men who had arrived at the mining site, not a crowd from the town. Is that correct?
No. Yes, that's correct.
So until the MP and his men arrived, was there any chaos?
There was no chaos. The suspect had been arrested. They were sitting down as commanded by the soldiers. They were in handcuffs. And in fact, the commander was going to hand them over to the Fijian police, make entries, and start a prosecution and leave because they were on another mission.
So
it was when he came to the site with the men and demanded that they release the suspect. And that is where the agitation started. And it started with his men, the men he brought, about 20 of them, heavily built men.
It makes me wonder, what calm did he come to restore when it was already calm before he got there?
He came not to restore any calm. And in fact, I have videos of him at the site demanding that they release them. I have videos of him calling Honorable Colin Zauda for the Colonel Boa to speak with him. And from the commander, Colin Zauda also said the same.